Hi everyone, it's Dr. Liz. I'm here to talk to you today about some visual tracking activities that you can do at home with your child. And we're going to incorporate some of those sight words so that you can combine some of their language arts skills as well as some of those visual tracking and ocular motor skills together in order to support success in literacy. So, one of the first things I'm going to show you is one of the sheets that I use with my students. It has a variety of the sight words for this particular student that he is working on. And what you're going to do is have your student track across and read the sight words that they have been working on, and a lot of which they probably already know, because these typically I work with the teachers to have them give me a list of the students mastered sight words, as well as a couple challenge words in there, things that they're learning, so that they can feel a lot of success, focus on the tracking, and then really only be working on a couple challenge words. All right, so you're going to start the paper just like you would read. So you're going from left to right, and you're reading across. So for instance, in this one, we're saying I, the, and, am, you, like, see, go. And as your child starts to do this, they may want to use their finger, and then we may want to move away from that. You can also use a fun pointer, like here I have my donut, so you could use something fun like that, like the back of a pencil that has a cool topper on it, to make it a little bit more fun for them. And then eventually you want them to just be using their eyes, okay? So if they're getting really good with the pointer and tracking and being able to go from line to line without skipping any, and understanding that they're moving left to right and not skipping any rows, then you can remove the pointer and have them just use their eyes. So you can do this in a variety of ways. You can do this on a table flat so the student can look at it, or one of the ways we do in therapy, one of the things we do is we hang this on the wall. Now I have an obsession with painter's tape because it can stick to any wall in your house and not ruin your walls, right? So this is the tape that my children are allowed to use in my house when they want to make obstacle courses out of yarn and things like that. They can tape it anywhere they want, and I have no problem with it. So we're going to just tape that up here. And you can have them do the same thing as they were doing before, and you can have them track across just by looking and stating I, the, and, am, you, like, see, go, me, him, a, he. And you want them to really get a rhythm down like that. When they start getting really good at this, you can incorporate a little bit of movement. So you may have your child turning around as they read. So it might be I, and then they can do a spin. The, and then they do a spin. And they do a spin. Am, and now I'm dizzy. Your children probably will not be, though, because a lot of them are movers and shakers. So that's another way that we up the ante. So now we're not just tracking fluidly as we would do for reading, but we're having to move the eyes away from the target and right back. So we use those skills a lot when we're copying from the board, copying from a book, looking from the computer maybe down to the keyboard and back up again. So the skills we're using when we're focusing on an item, moving away from that focus and coming back into focus is what we're doing when we're doing a spin. We also can work on these skills, of course. In therapy, sometimes we will be walking on a figure 8. That gets a little bit more challenging. You can certainly talk to your child's therapist if you want to get a little fancier like that. So I'm going to put this one down, and I'm going to show you one other way, quick way to work on the sight words and your visual or ocular motor skills with your child. So we also have the sight words. I wrote them out on sticky notes. I love sticky notes. It's another non-permanent way to hang things on walls or on the ground, or a lot of different things. So you can use sight words on sticky notes in multiple ways. In the therapy room and or in the classrooms, sometimes we will have sight words on the floor, and so students are saying the word and then they have to jump over it. So obviously you can't see that right now, but you would have lay them out in a pattern. You can lay them out in a windy pattern or a straight path. You can let the child create their own path, and then they would say the word and then jump over it to the next one. Another fun way to do this is to place the words all over a wall. So let's say we did it like this. We can work on some of those saccadic eye movements where you're focusing, going in and out of focus on an area with a balloon. So this can make it a little more interactive as well. So you can have the child working on their eye-hand coordination skills as well as their ocular motor skills. So you can take the balloon and have them tap on throw it at one of the words. So I'm going to aim for this one right here. I'm going to throw it and say am. Then I'm going to go to the next one, and they can do that in a random order, or if you wanted to, you could make this in lines across, and they can be doing their tracking like that and just saying like, have, the, you, see, what, and am. So I'm not sure how well you can do that, but we're just gonna bounce it towards. You can do that with a balloon. You can use, a wobble ball, I think they're called, those lightweight balls. And those aren't really gonna mess up the walls, or especially if you're inside. Obviously, if you're outside and you have an area where the like a garage door or something that you don't mind or a brick wall where you don't mind the kids throwing a basketball or something up, you can certainly do something like that also, or a playground ball. So those are a couple ways that we work on those skills that can be fun and keep kids moving and excited about learning, especially when they're home. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this quick tip video. Thanks.